Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nirisha Sriramoju, one of the trainer in Sankyana Consultancy Services. Today, we are going to discuss about fundamentals of STTM. So many clinical aspirants wants to know what are the fundamentals of STTM and all the domains as well. So today we shall discuss about fundamentals of STTM. So before discussing that, let's find out what is the agenda today. So here we are going to learn about or discuss what are observations and variables, and also we are going to discuss about data sets and domains. Later we will discuss about SDTM domain models and how to create new domains in SDTM. So what are the prerequisites, how we can create, that is all what we are going to discuss today. So the first and foremost thing is what are observations and variables in SDTM. So data standards are based upon your SDTM's general framework for organizing your clinical trials information that is to be submitted to the FDA. So the SDTM is built around the concept of observations collected about subjects who are participated in a clinical study. So each observation can be described by a series of variables corresponding to a row in a dataset or a table. So each variable can be classified according to its role. So a role determines the type of information conveyed by the variable about each distinct observation and how it can be used. So variables can be classified into five major roles. One is identifier variables, such as those that identify the subject, study, domain and sequence number of that particular record. And next we have topic variable. So that is going to specify the focus of your observation, such as the name of your lab test and so on. So next we have your timing variable, so which is going to describe the timing of the observation, such as your start date and end date based upon the study. And next we have qualifier variables, which include additional illustrative text or numeric variables that is going to describe the results of or even additional traits of the observation, such as what are the units or descriptive adjectives we are going to use. So rule variables, which expresses an algorithm or executable method to define start, end and branching or looping conditions in the trial design model. So the set of qualifier variables can be further categorized into five subclasses. So those are nothing but your grouping qualifiers, result qualifiers, synonym qualifiers, record qualifiers and variable qualifiers. So what are these? Let's see one by one. So your grouping qualifiers, they are used to group together a collection of observations within the same domain. So examples can include your category as well as subcategories. And result qualifiers, so those are going to describe your specific results associated with the topic variable in a findings data set. So they are going to answer the questions raised of by means of your topic variable itself. Next, your result qualifiers are like your original results, standard results, both character and numeric as well. Next we have synonym qualifiers. They are going to specify an alternative name for a particular variable in an observation. So examples include like your modify, decode, which are equivalent terms of your test or your treatment or topic variable. So test and LOINC, which are equivalent terms for your test code, are also been described in your synonym qualifiers as well. So next we have your record qualifiers. So those are going to define your additional attributes of the observations or the record as a whole. So rather than describing a particular variable in a record, you can use this. So examples include your recent, which is not defined, as well as whether it is the adverse event costing life threatening and all other serious adverse event flag variables in your AE domain, like age, sex and race in the DM domain, and baseline flags, position, location, specification and name in your findings variable as well, or your domain. So variable qualifiers are also there. Those are going to be used to further modify or describe a name of your specific variable within an observation, and are only meaningful when the context of your variable are being qualified. So those include like your original results units, whether high or lower limits of your normal range results as well, and all of which are variable qualifiers of your original results as well as your dosing units. So which is nothing but your variable qualifier of your dose. So for example, say in an observation you have a subject 101 uh, having a mild nausea starting on study day 6. So the topic variable value is a term for the adverse event, that is nothing but nausea, and the identifier variable is the subject identifier, that is 101. Now here we have the timing variable. So what is the study day of the start of the event? So that is comprising the information all about starting on study day 6. So here we have an example of your record qualifier, that is your severity, whether it is mild, moderate or severe. So now the condition is mild nausea, so it's mild. Additional timing and qualifier variables could also be included to provide the necessary detail to adequately describe an observation. So coming to your data sets and domains. Observations about study subjects are normally collected for all the subjects in a series of domains. A domain is defined as a collection of logically related observations with one common topic, right? So the logic of the relationship may pertain to the scientific subject matter of the data or its role in the trial. So each domain is represented by a single data set. Each domain dataset is distinguished by a unique 2-character code that should be used consistently throughout the submission. So this code, which is stored in your SDTM variable name domain, is used in 4 ways. One is as a dataset name. The second one, the value of the domain variable in that dataset. The other as a prefix or for most variable names in the dataset, and the last as a value in the relation domain or domain variable in the relationship tables. So all data sets are structured as flat files with rows representing observations and columns representing your variables. So each data set is described by metadata definitions, so that provide information about the variables used in the dataset. The metadata are described in a data definition document called define, and that is submitted with the data to regulatory authorities. Your define XML specifies 7 distinct metadata attributes to describe your SDTM data. One is the variable name. It is limited to 8 characters for compatibility with the SAS transport format. And next, a descriptor variable label using up to 40 characters, which should be unique for each variable in the dataset. And next, the data type, whether the variable value is a character or numeric. That's what you see in SAS, right? Next, the set of control terminology for the value or the representation format of the variable. So control terms, code list or format, the origin of each variable, and then the role of the variable, which determines how the variables is used in the dataset. For domain models, roles are used to represent the categories of variables, whether it belongs to your identifier, topic, timing, or the 5 types of qualifiers as well. Next, we have comments or other relevant information about the variable or its data included by the sponsorer as a necessary to communicate information about the variable or its contents to a regulatory agency. So the data stored in SDTM datasets include both raw and derived values. So raw means, as it is collected originally. Derived means converted into standard units or computed on the basis of multiple values such as an average. SDTM is going to list only the name, label and type, which is nothing but the set of brief CDIS guidelines that provide a general description for each variable used for a general observation class. So the domain dataset models, including models for special purpose domains and domain models based upon the general observation classes of this document. Suppose provide additional information about control terms or format, notes on proper usage, and examples like your control terminology CT that is now represented in four ways. A single asterisk when there is no specific control terminology available at the current time, but the SDS team expects that sponsor may have their own control terminology or the CDISC terminology team may be developing CT. So a list of control terms for the variable when values are not yet maintained externally. Next, the name of an external code list, that is whose values can be found via your hyperlinks in either the domain or by accessing the CDISC control terminologies. So a common format such as your ISO 8601, the CDISC control terminology team will be publishing additional guidance on use of these control terminologies separately. Now coming to your special purpose domains or datasets, the SDTM includes three types of special purpose datasets. Domain datasets consisting of demographics, comments, subject elements and subject visits, all of which include subject level data that do not conform to one of the three general observation classes. Next we have trial design model datasets such as your trial arms, the trial elements, which represent information about the study design but do not contain subject data. So these are described in your trial design datasets itself. Next we have your relationship datasets that include the RELREC and supplementary datasets representing your relationships and the data. Next, the general observation classes. Most subject level observations collected during the study should be represented according to one of the three SDTM general observation classes. Either it should be interventions, events and findings. So the list of variables allowed to be used in each of these can be found in the SDTM, and the interventions class captures investigational, therapeutic and other treatments that are administered to the subject. Suppose with some actual or expected high physiological effect, either as specified by the study protocol, maybe exposure to study drug, coincident with the study assessment period, either it can be to the concomitant medications or self-administered by the subject, such as use of alcohol, tobacco or caffeine. So the events class captures planned protocol milestones such as your randomization and study completion and occurrences, conditions or incidents independent on a planned study evaluations occurring during the trial, like your adverse events, or prior to the trial, like your medical history. The findings class captures observations resulting from planned evaluations to address specific tests or questions such as your laboratory test, ECG testing and questions listed on questionnaires. So in most cases, the choice of observation class appropriate to a specific collection of data that can be easily determined according to the descriptions provided. The majority of the data, which typically consists of measurements or responses to questions, usually at specific visits or time points, will fit the findings general observation class. So additional guidance on choosing your appropriate general observation class is also provided in the guidelines for determining your general observation class. So general assumptions for for us to use with all domain models, and the custom domains based upon your general observation classes are described, and assumptions for domain models of this document or specific assumptions for individual domains are included with the domain models itself. So that is the SDTM standard domain models, the listed in an alphabetical order based upon your domain code with their respective domain codes that have been defined or referenced by your CDISC SDS team. So note that other domain models may be also separately used for comments purpose. And coming to your special purpose domains, uh, it comprises your comments, demographics, subject elements, subject visits. Next, your interventions general observation class. It contains like your concomitant medications, exposure as collected, exposure, substance use, procedures, events. Now coming to your events general observation class, you can have your adverse events, clinical events, disposition, protocol deviations, healthcare encounters, medical history. So these all comes under your events class. Next we have your findings general observation class, where you can find out your drug accountability, death details, ECG test results, inclusion or exclusion criteria when it is not met, and immunogenicity specimen assessment, laboratory test results, microbiology specimen, microscopic findings, morphology, microbiology susceptibility test, pK concentrations, pK parameters, physical examination, questionnaires, reproductive system findings, disease response, characteristics of your subjects, that is subjects characteristics and subject status, tumor identification, tumor results, vital signs, findings about. Sorry, till here you have your findings general observation class. Next we have your findings about as well. So that comprises your findings about skin response, trial design domains as well. Next you have your trial arms in your trial design domains or your data sets, trial arms, trial design assessment, trial elements, trial visits, trial inclusion exclusion criteria, and the last your trial summary. You have also relationship data sets. So those include your supplemental qualifiers, or we call it as your subdomains. Next we have related records RELRIC. So a sponsor should only submit domain datasets that were actually collected or directly derived from your data which is being collected for a given study. So decisions on what data to collect should be based upon scientific objectives of your study. So rather than STTM, note that any data that was collected and will be submitted in an analysis dataset must also appear in your tabulation dataset, that is your STTM. So the collected data for a given study may use some or all of the standard domains. That is a list of standard domain codes for many commonly used domains is provided, and additional standard domain models will be published by CDISC as they are going to develop, and the sponsors are encouraged to check the CDISC website as well for any updates. And these general rules apply when determining which variable to include in a domain. So the identify variables like your study ID, unique subject ID, domain, and sequence orders are required in all domains based upon your general observation classes. Other identifiers may be added as needed. So any timing variables are permissible for use in any submission dataset based on a general observation class, except where restricted by specific domain assumptions. And sponsors may not add any other variables than those described in the guidelines. So the addition of standard variables will compromise to FDA's abilities to populate the data repository and to use your standard tools. The SDTM allows for the inclusion of your sponsors non-SDTM variables using supplemental qualifiers of your special purpose data set structure. So relating to your non-standard variables values to based upon your parent domain. So as the SDTM continues to evolve over time, certain additional standard variables may be added to your general observation classes. Therefore, sponsors wishing to nominate such variables for future consideration should provide a rationale and description of your proposed variables. So the standard variables must not be renamed or modified for your novel usage. Their metadata should not be changed. As long as no data was collected for permissible variables, a sponsor is free to drop them, and the corresponding descriptions of your defined XML is what been used. So now let's understand about creating a new domain. So overall process for creating a custom domain, which must be based upon one of the three SDTM general observation class. So the number of domains submitted should be based upon the specific requirements of the study. So first and foremost thing, confirm that none of your existing published domains will fit the need. A custom domain may only be created if the data are different in nature and do not fit into an existing domain. So establish a domain of a common topic, that is where the nature of your data is same rather than your specific method of collection. So like your EG, electronic cardiogram. So group and separate the data within the domain using variables like your category, subcategory, method, specification, location, all those. So examples of different topic variables are like your microbiology, tumor measurements, pathology or histology, even your vital signs and your physical exam results. So based on this, do not create separate domains based on time. So rather represent both prior and current observations in a domain, like your concomitant medication for all non-standard medications. And note that your adverse events and medical history are an exception to this practice because of regulatory reporting needs. So how your data is being collected or used must not result in creation of your custom domain. So for example, if blood pressure measurements are endpoints in the hypertension study, so they must still be represented in the vital signs domain as opposed to a custom efficacy domain. So similarly, if liver function test results are of special interest, they must still be represented in your LB domain as well. So data that were collected on separate CRFs pages may fit into an existing domain as well, such as separate questionnaires into the QS domain or prior and concomitant medications into this CM domain as well. So if it is necessary to represent relationships between data that are hierarchical in nature, you can do that, or you can enable it. Then establish a domain pair, and this will help you out to enable data set level relationships so that you can describe using relrec data set domain as well. So the domain pair uses domain as an identifier to group parent records from child records and enables a dataset level relationship to be described in your relrec domain. So without using domain to facilitate description of your data relationships, so relrec as currently defined could not be used without introducing a variable that would group your data like a domain. So whenever you're going to submit your data, just check the data standards, and after that you can look for an existing or relevant domain model to serve as a prototype. So if no existing model seems appropriate, choose the general observation class like your interventions, events and findings that best fits the data by considering your topic of your observation. The general approach for selecting variables for a custom domain is like you can select and include the required identifier variables like your study ID, domain, unique subject ID, sequence, and any permissible identifier variables from your SDTM. You can also include the topic variables from the identified general observation class like your test code and you can select and include relevant qualifier variables from the identified general observation class. Variables belonging to other general observation classes must not be included. So select and include the applicable timing variables. So determine the domain code and check the CDISC control terminology for reserved two character domain identifiers or abbreviations. So if one has not been assigned by CDISC, then the sponsor may select the unique two character domain code to be used consistently throughout the submission. And you can also apply the two character domain code to the appropriate variables in the domain and replace all the variables prefixes with the domain code. So if no domain code exists in your CDISC terminology data, for this, if it is desired to have the domain code as part of CDISC terminology, then submit a request to add the new domain based upon your CDISC website. So for new domain codes which must be included, it must be two-letter domain code and a description. And rationale for domain code: domain model with assumptions. Examples: upon receipt, the SDS domain code subteam will review the package if accepted. So then the proposal will be submitted to SDS team for review. So upon approval, a response will be sent to your requester and packaging process will begin. So if declined, then the domain code subteam will draft a response for SDS team review. Upon agreement, the response will be sent to the requester and also posted to the CDISC website. So based on that, set the order of variable consistent with the order defined in SDTM. So depending upon the general observation class, the custom domain is based on, and then you can adjust the labels of your variables only as appropriate to properly convey the meaning of the content of the data being submitted in the newly created domain. So CDISC domain models in your regulatory submissions, where you are going to use your contents and attributes, that where SDTM IG provides standard descriptions of some of the most commonly used data domains. So the CDISC notes is for notes to the sponsor regarding to the relevant to use of each variable based upon core and all those. So core indicates how the variable is classified as a CDISC core variables, and the references are been provided to relevant section. And so the data sets or the metadata, the defined XML that accompanies a submission, should also describe each dataset that is included in the submission and describe the natural key structure of each dataset. And since the purpose of this is to aid reviewers in understanding the structure of dataset, sponsors should list all the natural keys, that as these keys should define uniqueness for records within your dataset and may define a record sort order. The naming of these keys should be consistent with the description of the structure in the structure column. So for the general observation class domains, sequence variable was created so that a unique or record could be identified consistently across all of these domains via its use along with your study ID, unique subject ID, domain. So in most of the domains, sequence order will be a surrogate key for a set of variables which comprise your natural key. And prefixes and control terminology, so where findings data models are closely related to normalized relational data models, so the value level metadata should be provided in a separate section of your case report tabulation and your data definition specification, that is your defined XML. So this information which historically has been submitted as previously defined .pdf should henceforth be submitted in an XML format. So for details you can also visit CDISC website and you can confirm with the SDTM IG domain models which is minimally indicated, and using SDTM specified standard domain names and prefixes where available, as well as you can use SDTM specified standard variable names, SDTM specified variable labels for all the standard domains, and you can also specify data types for all variables following your SDTM and your control terminology and format guidelines for variables when provided, including all collected and relevant derived data in one of your standard domains. That is, either it can be a special purpose data sets or general observation class structures. So this will include all required and expected variables as columns in standard domains, and ensuring that all required variables are being populated. So ensure that each record in your dataset includes the appropriate identifier and timing variable as well as your topic variable, so that this confirms and describe rules in CDISC notes columns and the general domain specific observations. So with this I conclude my webinar, and I thank you one and all, and we shall meet up in the next webinar with more information. Thank you all.